Toyota man walks into the dealership and says, I need to buy my kid a car. Kid walks in with him and says, I can't sit that low. I need an SUV. In comes the Corolla Cross. For years, entry-level cars with Toyota has been the Corolla. It's been the #1 seller worldwide several times over and over, and it has now grown up vertically. And this is the all-new 2022 Corolla Cross. It's built right alongside the Mazda CX-50 in the plant in Alabama that they share, but they have no mechanical or engineering sharing, just a manufacturing building share. That's kind of an interesting tidbit. Now onto the looks. We think it's handsome. This one's painted in Celestite gray metallic, and look, it's not a bright color, but Toyota's color game has been solid for years, and in the sun, this looks pretty darn good. Now, appearances wise, this thing is not going to offend anybody, and that's probably its strong point. A lot of times you see cars that are overstyled. This is not one of them, and I really, really appreciate that. I think it's handsome. I'd be fine driving this thing anywhere and being seen in it. Now, all looks covered. Let's take this thing inside and see what the interior has.
Oh, CVT. Oh no, what am I doing? Interior. Welcome to the interior of the Corolla Cross. It's a Corolla, except it's taller. What that means is you have more headroom in the front row, the second row, and probably most importantly, over the Corolla hatch. As much as we like hatchbacks in this industry, this SUV shape just makes more sense. It's a bread box and it's more practical because of that. There's nothing wrong with that. And as Brian said, the styling makes it work, so it's not a problem. As far as functionality of everything else goes, it looks a lot like a Corolla in here, and that's because that's what it is. All materials are very Toyota, no rattles, soft touch, matte finishes, and not going to get a bunch of fingerprints everywhere. Easy sight lines, it works, and it's going to last forever. With that, let's see what's under the hood. The M20A FKS. That means, and that's what this 2-liter will do, baby. 169 horsepower and 150 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 to 4,800 RPM. Why the range? Because it's a CVT. And that CVT is the K120 direct shift CVT, marketing speak for you get a first gear, and then you get a handoff, a nice smooth handoff to the CVT to get you all the economy stuff. That economy is good for 30 miles per gallon combined on the highway, and it's good for 1,500 pounds towing. Not too shabby for a little car like this. With that, let's get it over to Brian and find out why you should get the all-wheel drive for more than just the all-wheel drive.
Welcome to our favorite part of the show where we get into the rolling stock right away, and that is the rubber. This thing rolls on 18-inch wheels, and it has 225, 55, 18 Goodyear Assurance Finesse tires. And what that means, and you can tell by the tread, is that it is a city tire or a highway tire. It's quiet, it's not meant for the dirt or the mud. We tried it in the dirt a little bit, and it's clear it's a highway tire. The trade-off is it's really quiet on the highway. We like that part a lot. Now back to the nuts and bolts. This thing uses a very conventional front-wheel drive based style economy car suspension. You've got steel everything. Nothing here is aluminum. You have a steel knuckle. You have a traditional strut design, McPherson strut design with a lower L arm. It is a rear steer and a front-mounted sway bar. Straightforward, no complaints. And what we will say is that this thing rides great. The suspension and shock and damping tuning are right on par for a smooth riding thing. Think of Camry a few years ago. That's about where it is. It's never wallowy, but it never knocks your coffee out of your hand. We like that a lot. More importantly, this thing has the optional all-wheel drive. That's a $1,300 option, but the biggest news is not the drivetrain portion. It's the independent rear suspension. If you get two-wheel drive on this unit, you will end up with a torsion beam rear, which is perfectly fine. But we know this multi-link rides a little bit better. That might be part of the reason it rides so well. Now, all those nuts and bolts figured out, let's get it to the pavement and see if it's any good.
All right, Brian, enough suspension and horsepower talk. Let's see if this baby rips. Hit it!
Loaded the torque converter.
Skinny pedal.
I'm on it.
Okay.
40. 50. 60. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm looking at our drag box here, Craig. That was 0-60 in 12.89.
I feel like you should bleep that out. We know we can beat that. This thing's a burner. Let's go. Hit it.
You say so. No, it's down.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, she's a ripper.
It's making some noise.
She's a ripper, eh?
Yeah.
And 10.6.
There we go. Yeah, I knew we'd get in the 10s.
It turns out downhill helps.
Okay, Brian, so is this car fast?
No, not at all.
Is it slow?
Yes.
Okay, is that okay?
You know, for this car, it really is. The person that buys this wants it to be reliable and safe and comfy, and man, it does a great job at all that. It rides awesome.
Does those. I'm glad you mentioned the ride because we talked about that in the shop a lot. The all-wheel drive has the different suspension than the front-wheel drive.
Which makes a huge difference in ride
It's a
quality.
$1,300 option. Do you think it's worth it?
Absolutely, yes.
More so than just the all-wheel drive, the suspension?
Yeah, I would pay $1,300 just for the IRS.
Yeah.
Or multi-link, whatever Toyota's calling it back there over the torsion beam. Granted, some torsion beams are fine.
Sure.
There's just a little more, it's like HD suspension.
Yes.
Just a little more linear in how it reacts, and it's just...
And if you're riding in the back, you're probably going to appreciate it even more.
Absolutely. And look, if we're talking dynamics right now, which we are, that's the strong point, is the ride quality is just solid.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah, it's not a sports car.
No, it doesn't handle great, but look, it's a crossover. It's not a Corolla, it's a Corolla Cross.
Yep.
And again, the biggest letdown is the CVT.
Yeah, I like it that it's got a first gear. That helps for this when you first start off. You're like, okay, it's normal, and then immediately get the handoff. And it's a smooth handoff. But then you're just in the CVT that you don't like, part of the CVT world, and it's the CVT.
Well, and what I feel most of the time is when you, like for example, that launch, that first gear feels like it's way too tall. Like it feels like a second gear than a first. So if you're going to do a first, make it jump out of the hole.
Right.
But I'm sure there's a reason for that.
Sure.
You know, this thing has a lot of metrics that they need to hit, a lot of targets.
Right.
So look, ride and drive, the most important thing is there's nothing glaring and offensive other than its slowness. It
Correct.
turns in right, it handles appropriately, it's very comfortable, and it's quiet enough for urban driving. I will say on Texas highways, it can get a little bit noisy. You can comment on that more than I can.
And that's what I keep thinking about when I drive this car. I think about the second generation RAV4.
Oh, yeah.
It's an econo box on stilts, and that's fine. But it means it's a little noisy. It doesn't have it's not the quietest road noise.
Right.
It's going to make some noise. But that being said, this thing rides well. It checks all the boxes that you need to do. It's more comfortable getting in and out of than a hatchback, and there's more storage in the back. And so,
like
the
person that's going to buy a car like this will have no complaints of what we just talked about. They're not going to give a crap about that. They're going to love how it rides and drives.
And I think this thing's kind of cool. You get this in green with the roof crossbars.
It
looks kind of cool. I mean, it looks right.
Yeah, speaking of hipster, let's head back to the shop and talk about that.
Hill test?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, Brian. Lots of discussion about this car.
Absolutely.
All new from Alabama.
Yes.
And but we haven't gotten to one thing yet, and that is the hipster score. 3, 2, 1, 2.
8. Where did you get 2 from?
Where did you get 8? This isn't a hybrid. It's an SUV.
Agreed.
It's got a name that doesn't make sense. Go ahead, explain yourself.
CVT.
Okay. Wait. Hipsters like CVTs?
Wait a minute. I mean, that screams fuel economy.
Okay.
CVTs exist just for fuel economy.
With you.
Green paint.
Oh, that is,
That's half of it right there.
And you can get roof bars.
And roof bars.
Oh, and Apple CarPlay.
And Apple CarPlay. And there's a hybrid might be coming to this.
And it does get over 30 miles a gallon.
It does. And for an SUV of this size, a lot of them struggle to do that.
Yeah.
So credit where it's due on that. I think the person that wants to get to their Instagram campsite with the green paint, they're going to look the part and get the fuel economy from whatever car they're driving before, probably no trade-off in mileage and running costs. So that's where it's at. Look, and I'm playing it back, maybe a 7's appropriate, but knowing that a hybrid might be coming, that changes everything.
Okay, with that though, who is this car for?
Oh man, this is easy. It's for your daughter, and it's for your grandma.
And a lot of people in between.
Absolutely.
Because, as we've already said in the drive portion, it rides great, it checks all these boxes, it's reliable, it's going to last forever.
Easy to get into.
All the things we've already talked about.
Tons of space for the size that it is. Like, back here, this is great.
I think you're going to sell a ton of these. I think this is the SUV version of the Ford Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean by that is the Ford Maverick checks so many boxes, looks like a truck, but is still cheap and attainable for a lot of people.
Right, you can get into it.
This is cheap and attainable for a lot of people, but looks like a good, proper SUV, and that means you're going to sell a ton of them.
And let's touch pricing real quick. I know we don't do this a lot on the show, but I think it matters here.
Starts at 22.
That is nothing in today's money for a vehicle that's technically, look, it's a crossover. People see this and go, oh, I'm in an SUV for $22,000. Well, people love that.
Right.
There's an image that comes with that, and it matters. It has these sitting tall, so people feel safer in them. There's a big stigma about going under vehicles that people have, at least in Texas. There's so many trucks, and it is safe, and it is comfortable, and it is going to last for absolutely ever. And here's the biggest flaw with this thing, and it's the powertrain. We know that, we beat it to death.
Yep.
But the person that buys this won't care, and it will absolutely outlive us all.
Right.
So credit where it's due.
What are you more excited for, the GR version or the TRD off-road version? TRD Pro version.
Look, the GR version is going to be the Corolla hatch. They're already doing that, which is awesome. But is this going to be a Kona Infighter maybe?
Oh, okay, so that's where the GR would be fun. I'm excited about the TRD Pro version with, in 10 years, rip the doors off of this, and this is better than any side-by-side you can get.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be
It'd be a
cheaper than
blast.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
So,
okay,
with that, we've got a show.
Let us know in the comments, should it be a GR in the future or a TRD off-road in the future? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.